while I'm waiting for Storm Dennis to burn himself out, I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. Last year, I did some ancestry testing. I actually did 3 different companies: 23andMe, Living DNA, and Ancestrycom. Not sponsored by any of these companies. Bought all of these tests myself, so let's make that clear. The reason why I'm doing this update is because over the last couple of months, each of the 3 companies have done an update to their database, their genetics database, which means that your results change slightly. So every time they do an update, they obviously let you know, and you can go back and check your results again. So we are going to go through my updated results for each of the 3 companies. So if you want to check out my previous videos, I do have a My Genetics playlist where I've got ancestry results for those 3 companies, plus health results and further information, further genetic research that I've done based on my 23andMe genome, which you can download. I might do a further video on health at some point very soon, but today I'm concentrating on the ancestry element. So without further ado, what you can see here in my notes is just the previous results. So for 23andMe, previously it highlighted me to be 98.6% European, which was broken down as 38.6% Italian, 4.3% Spanish and Portuguese, 5.4% broad European, 26.9% British or Irish, 8.7% French/German, 1.8% Scandinavian, and then 3.7% broadly West European, and then a further 1.2% West Asian/North Africa. So that's like across the top of North Africa here. So you've got like Egypt and Tunisia and Libya, etc. here, and then West Asia is the Middle East. That was what 23andMe called me. Ancestry was very similar. English, Welsh, Northwest Europe, it lumped it together as 37%. Italian, 36%. Ireland/Scotland, it highlighted those separately, 13%. France, 8%. And then Greek, 6%. So it didn't find West Asian or North African, but it found Greece and the Balkans. These areas are geographically very close together. So, and I'm expecting that they have less information in their databases on those regions. Perhaps, I'm speculating. Living DNA, however, I was really disappointed with. It struggled to find my Italian ancestry. It said I was 94.3% Europe, 5.7% Near East. But if I remember rightly, it said I was 61% British, which is not true. My mum is British, like Northwestern European, born in Britain, raised in Britain. All her ancestors are from Britain, as far as we know. That's going to pull up a little bit of kind of Germanic and stuff like that as well. But my biological father is from Sicily, and 23andMe was really good at that, because within the Italian, it actually highlighted Sicily. Living DNA did not find the Sicilian link at all. So Living DNA is a smaller, newer company, so it's it was disappointing. And if I was doing, if I didn't know anything at all about my ancestry, or maybe my DNA heritage was questioned, like maybe I didn't know who my biological father was or something like that, then I would have been led completely up the wrong path with Living DNA saying that I was like 60% British. So the updates have been promising. What I'll do then is take you to, firstly, 23andMe. So it has changed my composition slightly. Instead of, let's move these along a little bit, I'm now down to 95.4% European, rather than 98%. Italy, it's brought it up to 40.3%. It's highlighted Sicily as Sicily's the little island, like the boot of Italy. It looks like it's kicking. That's Sicily there. It highlights that. And then Spanish and Portuguese has gone down a little bit. I think maybe it's been incorporated into here. Still got some broadly Southern European. That's where they know you've got genes from this region, but they can't highlight it to a specific country. And then British and Irish stays pretty much very similar. What it does is it gives you regions. It gives you regions where you're most likely, it's where you're sharing DNA compatibility with its rest of its database. So Greater Manchester, yes, most of my mum's ancestors that we know of, in the last 200 years, come from the Greater Manchester / Lancashire area. So Wigan, Bolton, Liverpool. It's found Greater Manchester, Merseyside and Lancashire. 200 years ago it was all just Lancashire. They've split it up into different counties now for administrative reasons, but it was all Lancashire. Found Greater London. I'm not aware that I've got ancestors in London, but because London is like a built up area, then it's just finding matches. It doesn't necessarily mean I've got ancestors there. It's just finding matches. It's also found West Midlands and West Yorkshire and South Yorkshire, Nottinghamshire. Yes, my nan's grandma and granddad, so my great-great-grandparents, one is from Halifax, which is in West Yorkshire. One is from Lincolnshire, which I think it's going to find it maybe Nottinghamshire. It was on the Lincolnshire-Nottinghamshire border anyway. Also, it's found Glasgow. And I do believe I've got a little bit of Scots because one of my 3 times great-grandmas, her maiden name is Armstrong, which is a Scottish name, and I can't get her any further back than that. So I'm really interested in, and Lowe, I believe, actually also, like the name Lowe, are Scottish roots. So that's interesting. It's upped my West Asian and North African from 1.2 to 4.3%. So this is this area here. So North Africa, Middle East, specifically Anatolian, so that's modern day Turkey. It's been kind of non-specific on the others. So that's the 23andMe update. If I was using this, because I didn't know anything about my ancestors, I wouldn't be too shocked by the changes. They've just got, I think, probably a little bit more specific because of the changes to the database. The one that I would be most concerned about is the living DNA. As I said, I was disappointed with the initial results that I got because it was telling me that I was more British than I actually am. It's changed its figures somewhat. These are the biggest changes. So instead of the 60-odd%, it's now giving me 40% for Great Britain and Ireland. If you do have the majority of your ancestors in Great Britain and Ireland, living DNA, it doesn't just give you the regions, it also gives you an estimated set of percentages. So again, it's found the Northwest England, it's found East Anglia, which is, can I make this map bigger? Just for people who don't know anything about England, this is Northwest England here. This is where I am at the moment and where my ancestors come from. This is East Anglia, so it takes Lincolnshire, Nottinghamshire's kind of here. So East Anglia's here, and it finds that at 6%. So if you break down your great-great-grandparents, then you're looking at around 4 to 6% of your DNA coming from them. So it's found good old Annie Applewhite there. Interestingly, it's found Devon, South England, South Wales border, Cornwall. I'm not aware, so Cornwall's right down the bottom here, and Devon is just a bit further up here. South of England is generally just south of England. I suppose it means the south coast. and South Wales border, so that's here. I do have a Welsh ancestor, don't know anything about him, he's just a name on someone's birth certificate, called Llewellyn Williams. You can't get much more Welsh than Llewellyn Williams, but there's so many Llewellyn Williamses in Wales, like 200 years ago, that I can't find which Llewellyn Williams it is that I need to follow. So it could be that it's drawing up him. And again, it's brought up a little bit of Scotland, specifically up here. So, and Cumbria, which is north of Lancashire up here. So the Scottish border is, Cumbria's in England, but it's just right on the Scottish border. So I'm wondering whether that is bringing up the Armstrong connection. So I don't know. It's all speculative. Instead of not finding my South European Sicilian ancestry, this is Sicily here, it has now found it. So it's given me Europe South, 38.5%, still perhaps a little bit low, I'll come on to that. So South Italy, including Sicily, and then Europe Northwest, which is just kind of the more generic stuff. It's given me 13.1%. South Caucasus, this is Turkey, so it's like Eastern Turkey. So 13%, which is interesting because does it map onto, kind of guess it does, it maps onto where 23andMe puts me, somewhere here. Although 23andMe have said less of this area than Living DNA, it's still highlighted the same area. I think Living DNA still have some updating to do. I think there's still maybe a little bit less, I don't want to say believable, but less reliable. Finally, we've got Ancestry DNA. This is my DNA story from Ancestrycom. Originally, it was very similar to 23andMe, so it gave me 37% England, Western Europe, 36% Italy, and then lesser percent from other places. So now it's given me 50% England, Wales, and Northwest Europe. So that would be the entirety of my mum, 45% Italy, and then just a couple of other regions, which include Greek and the Balkans. So a very small amount, 2% from Greece and the Balkans. So it's not found West Asia, so it's not found Anatolia or Caucasus or Africa. Instead, it's highlighted Greece, but it's still in the general, I suppose, the general geographic vicinity. Ireland and Scotland also brings up 3%, so again, that could be the Scottish connection with the Armstrongs. Italy, 45%. Which is more in the south, less in the north. Also counts parts of what we consider, I suppose, Greece, or actually part of Turkey. So maybe it is making some sense. And Cyprus, it's linking into that. Right, so those are my updated results. Make of them what you will. Have you had ancestry testing? Did you get any surprises? I wouldn't, bet your house on these results. They are liable for even further change as they refine their databases. I've now got both my daughter's and my mother's DNA back. I'll get the permissions and then hopefully I'll be able to do 3 generations of ancestry testing. I'll do that as a separate video. So hope you enjoyed something a little bit different than the vegan content today. And back tomorrow with more vegan content, calling out everybody who needs to be called out. If you're enjoying the videos and you're not yet subscribed, you know what to do. And my research link, research on food choices, health and attitudes is still running. It's over 500 participants now, but we're still running it for a little while longer. Doesn't matter what your diet is, whether you are plant-based, animal-based, or anywhere in between. We are looking for everybody to complete this questionnaire. It takes about 15 minutes. Speak soon, guys. Bye-bye.